Today we'll do the final installment in this three-part saga. First, I wanted to explain a little bit how the whole process works for those that missed it from the other two videos, which, by the way, will be linked to down below. And what I was thinking of doing with this whole project is a few things. Number one, I wanted to try different automation apps, both on the mobile side and on the computer side, to get the whole process, the whole flow of this environment, if you will, flowing properly. What I wanted to be able to do was to go and record various thoughts just at various times. I may be in the car, maybe walking outside. It doesn't matter where I am. I just all of a sudden have a thought, and I want to make sure it gets recorded so later on I can deal with it. And that, by the way, doesn't have to be just a thought. It could be a task that I need to get done at some point in time in the future. It might be a shopping list that I want to take care of. There's different ways to use this, but the idea is there's these different pieces of information that are being thought of, and then I want to record it somewhere, but I cannot take action on them immediately. I would take the action later on. There's all kinds of apps you can use to create that kind of environment, but I wanted to have something that's very simple to orchestrate and to use on a daily basis. And that's why on the mobile side, which is usually I have when I'm out and about and with my phone, I wanted to have some sort of a literally couple of taps approach to be able to record my thoughts. And of course, the easiest way to record the thoughts are with the voice. So I can just talk and I don't have to type and I have to put little dinky little characters. Even though I use the keyboard with a slider on it, it's still not as quick as being able to talk. So that's where I use the Automate app from the Play Store and Android, again, no Apple here, to be able to do the following. I do a single tap on the desktop of my mobile phone, and I put that particular icon right in front and center. And what it does, it creates a new email that has my email address in the to field. It has specific subject, like in my case, it's my thought. I figured all of them, so I could deal with them later, will be called my thought as the subject line. And then it doesn't do anything else. It just puts the email address in there, jumps into Gmail automatically, and puts in the subject line. I don't do anything but that one tap to be able to get to that point, which makes it much more efficient. Next thing that happens is I simply tap inside where you actually type the body of the email, and then I tap the microphone icon once the keyboard pops up, and then I can just talk. And as I talk, even though I have an accent and everything else, it goes ahead and takes care of figuring out what I'm saying pretty well. And it doesn't have to be anything super coherent, because later AI will fix all this stuff. So if I do something with the wrong grammar, or if I do any typing and I misspell something, for example, it doesn't matter, because later on it'll be taken care of. So the idea is just to get raw data out there. And once I get done, I do another tap to send it, and I'm done. So it's like basically what, 3 taps pretty much to be able to get the whole thing done and have my thought be stored. The problem is that when it does it, it sends me an email, but then I have to deal with it. And potentially the verbiage or the spelling or anything else could be a little bit off. That's one problem with this approach. Second problem with this approach is that these emails are all over the place, and I don't know when I'm going to deal with them. I have no idea. Maybe at the end of the day, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. And at the time when they record these thoughts, I don't really care, because I'm out and about doing something else. All of a sudden, light bulb, some idea comes up, I record it using this approach, and I don't want to worry about it till later. Okay? Then what happens is there is another automation on the desktop side where I'm using this Relay.app application, and that allows me to take all these emails that are out there. It allows me to reformat them and put them in a single email. So it grabs all these emails, does the English so it sounds proper, no spelling errors, things like that, and then it puts them all with the date on each line, on these separate lines, in this one email. So it's nicely formatted, easy to read, and it sends it to me as a summary report, okay, of whatever was in all these different emails that I recorded using my voice. And then, of course, at that point, it also modifies the labels in these emails to indicate that next time when I run this process, it's not going to be using the same emails again and again. So this allows me to keep the emails in place, so I don't have to worry about them being deleted, and then all of a sudden I need to get back to them and I can't. So that's why it doesn't delete the emails. But it does this business with the label. So when there is no label, it knows it needs to be put in this list. When there is a label, the specific label, in my case I call it my thoughts, then it goes ahead and ignores them basically, and that's it. And then at any point in time later on, I can just use that particular label with one tap in Gmail to pull up all these emails, and then with a second tap, click delete and delete all of them. So it's not like or archive them or mark them as unread, mark them as read. Basically, whatever you can normally do in Gmail, I can do with these emails as a group. And then the process basically continues and repeats itself. So with that said, hopefully I described it well enough. You can get an idea what it's about, and hopefully you can come up with your own uses of this kind of environment and setup using some of these similar techniques. So let's go into a specific example here, and let me just show you how it works. So the hero of this particular environment is an app called Relay.app, as I alluded to earlier. And this is what you're seeing on the screen here. And this particular workflow is called My Thoughts Interceptor, but obviously you can call it anything you want. Let's go through these 6 steps and see what we're actually doing here to make this whole process work so seamlessly, basically. The first thing is it says email sent to mail hook. What's happening is this is triggered when an email is sent to a particular email address. In this case, it's an address that looks like this, and it just happens to be something that the Relay.app creates for you. The idea being that when you launch any of these workflows, you can only launch them based on some kind of a trigger. In this case, it's an email, that particular address. You can schedule it to run certain times. There's all kinds of different ways to trigger, but that's what we're trying to do in this case. Email is sent to this particular address, then the process continues. So the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to identify what emails we want to look at. So we're doing a find emails, which is a feature function in Relay.app for Gmail, and we're saying match all emails with the subject containing the word my thought. Okay? And we're also saying at the same time, as long as the label called processed is not there. Okay? What we're trying to do here is saying this: if you see an email with the subject line of my thought, then make sure it doesn't have a label called processed. If that's the case, process it. Okay? If you do see that label, then just skip it, ignore it basically. Okay? And it says here, if absolutely no emails found, it's going to fail, which means it's not going to continue to the next step because we don't have anything to process. In our case, we're going to be working on emails it found in step 2. In step 3, it says create report summary. This is basically a prompt for AI to do something. And if we look at the prompt here, it says, as a professional writer, you look at all emails found, analyze content, ignoring any signatures, and create a summary of all the items found in each email. Now, why am I saying ignoring any signatures? The reason for this is because a lot of people have automatic signatures, and including myself, I don't want them to be part of this email I'm trying to create. And it says get the main idea and rewrite it in a nice manner. Don't use any markdown or any other special symbols, just plain text. Show each email content as a bullet point with the date, an email, and no labels of any kind. But it's not really a bullet point, basically. I just want to show it in separate lines. It says here's an example. That's how I like it to look. I want to have a date when this email came in and the description of what was in that email. That's it, nothing more. So basically there's one line per email. Okay? The way it'll prompt the AI is it can prompt it using best fit AI model that Relay will figure out on its own, or you can specify a specific model. In my case, I use Gemini 2.0 Flash. You can select from all kinds of different options and sub-options, as you can see here, whatever you prefer. And then we want to create structured data with a message in there. Theoretically, I could have more fields, but this is all I really need. It's just the message, meaning the collection of what AI figured out. Okay? Once it creates this report, now that we have this report from all these emails we found, next step is to send email to me. So this is the send email to Oleg Moskalinsky, and over here it says send email is another step in the process, which is called send email using Gmail, as you can see. And it says who is the from, should this email be coming from? In other words, who is the from person? It should indicate in the email, usual standard email stuff. Who is it from? Who is it to? So you just specify all of this. In my case, it happens to be coming from me to me. Simple enough. But you can put in any email address that's valid. And then subject line, in this case, it will say those report as of, and then you can indicate using the @ sign, you can add what they call workflow fields, and one of the fields is called current date time. So it's very easy to put in date and time that's currently running, and then the output would be the output from step number 3, which is the summary itself. Again, simple enough, no big deal, and it'll create an email. So now we've got our summary. Start again. Now that we found the emails, we created the summary, and we sent email to me here, why do we need to do anything else? The reason is because, again, of our selection, looking for not just the subject being my thought, but also making sure the label is not there. So we're using the label as a switch to indicate what's been processed, what hasn't been processed. Okay? And we start out by saying doesn't have label processed, but obviously now that we've processed it, now we want to go ahead and tell it that, yeah, we've processed it, so mark it as processed. So that's what this does. It cycles through each email using what Relay.app calls iterator, and then for each email it found in step number 2 here, that's what it says for each emails, and it shows level 2, it refers to output from step number 2 here. For each one of these, do the following additional steps. In my case, it's just one step. All I'm saying is add label called processed to each email. That's all I'm doing here. That's the only thing it's going to do. So it's going to cycle through all these emails we found and just mark them all with the label processed, and that's all it's going to do. So that's our way of turning the switch off. So when we run the report, it'll grab those emails, get us the information, and then it'll change the labels. So next time it's not going to grab the same emails, like a on and off switch. Okay? That's the entire process. So that's going to be the main brain behind this whole environment, and the main processor that'll take care of the job. So the steps to use this, again, you go into the mobile app, you click on the little icon from the Automate app, it fills in all the fields and gets you to the point of being able to enter your voice or typed item, whatever it might be, and then you just send it away and you forget about it. And then at some point in time, you will run another automation on your phone that basically sends the report by triggering this particular process. So it sends an email to this address up here, and that's what triggers this whole process to run, and it'll take care of processing all these emails, marking them as processed, and that's it. Okay? Very simple, very straightforward. If you think about it in terms of what else can you do with this thing, you could use it for tasks. That certainly seems like a good use for it. Another possibility would be for shopping lists. So you remember those time you need to buy milk, so you add an entry, say buy milk. Another entry, say buy something for dinner, and so on and so forth. And as you add these little emails, then you can go ahead and see the list, and then if you need to go to the store or do whatever you want to do with that. So there's a number of different things you can use it for. Not just thoughts, not just items of importance. You can segregate it any way you want. But what you could do is you can set up multiple of these workflows, and you just need to change the subject line to be something specific. For example, let's say this one is called My Thoughts, which is fine. But let's say you wanted to do a shopping list, so you would just change the subject line to be shopping list or my shopping list, whatever you want to call it. And then you simply duplicate this workflow here and then rename it to my shopping list. And then you simply change that right there, the find emails, instead of saying subject would be my thought, subject would then be my shopping list. And you create another automation on your phone called shopping list. You basically duplicate what you had for the My Thought deal, except you change it so it creates the subject line being my shopping list. And then you create another report here with this duplicated workflow. And you can leave the labels to be the same because we're just using labels to basically indicate what should be processed, what's already processed. So that could be the same for the shopping list. You don't need to change that. You change the subject line, and now you have a whole other slew of emails you could have. And you can have additional buttons on your phone. Maybe set up a group, and you can have in that group little icons for my thought, my shopping list, my items of interest, whatever you want to put in there. It doesn't really matter what different it's almost like lists of different things. And then you would also create duplicate workflows here in Relay.app for that particular entity. And you can run it anytime again on your phone by saying, give me my shopping list. Or you click on the other icon that says, give me my thoughts. So that's basically, you can use it for many different things by using this approach. I would not recommend having one setup like this for everything, where you have shopping list items and you have your thoughts and you have some other things, for example, keep putting them all using the same workflow, and then everything gets sent to you as a single email that has all these items that are completely incoherent to each other. You could do it, but I certainly wouldn't recommend it. But anyway, that's how it works. And Relay.app does a very nice job, acts very quickly. And so let's just do one more run through it right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up on my phone and show you the actual process one more time. And we'll wrap it up. Okay, so what I'm going to do on the right side here, up here, is to show you a video of what I'm doing. I got my phone here, but you can't see it. So I'll drop in there the video of what I'm actually doing, and I'll narrate it as I'm doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and record what I'm doing on the phone here. So basically, I tap on the icon one time. It says My Thought. This comes up. So basically just 2 taps there. And now I click on the little microphone, record an example video of how this whole process works, and then post it on YouTube. And I click on the send icon, and basically that's it. So I can do this at any time, as many times as I want, and all these emails will be stored. Let's just do one more. So again, tap. Write some sort of tutorial about using Google Keep as a CRM. Okay, so boom, that's it, and click send. And then if I want to do a report at any point in time, then I just simply, again, pull up a different icon here. Like in this case, it's my summary. Tap on it one time. Literally, that's it. Just a little tap, and that's all I need to do. Now, if we go back to my Gmail, then we can see that we've got a couple of emails here that have my thought. And as you can see them, it's exactly what I said. Second one. But we don't have to deal with this. We just look, and you can see right there that the report has these 2 items. It's got today's date, and it says create tutorial using Google as a CRM. See, I said Google Keep, it says Google as a CRM. You can see this is a good example of AI actually changing things on the fly. And then make a video demonstrating the process, upload it to YouTube. Again, words are a little different than what I wrote, which is fine, but it's good English. And if I wanted, I could have headings, I could have stuff at the end. I just need the basic stuff, that's all I need. And that's it, that's the whole process, as simple as that. Anyway, I hope that you find this helpful. We'll give you some ideas for some things you can do with this. Please leave your comments and questions below. I'll also link to the other 2 videos in this sequence. And till next time, I'm Oleg. Thank you.